Hi artists, thanks for watching the demo video for our Dia de Los Muertos project. The first thing I'm going to walk you through is doing step one, so that's sketching the sugar skull design. You will use pencil and paper to do this. I'm going to use Sharpie so you can see exactly what I'm doing. The first step of drawing the skull is going to be drawing like a U shape at the bottom of your paper. That's going to be the jawline. With my Sharpie or my pencil, in your case, I'm going to make sure that the line's pretty even. I think this side can go up a little more. My next step is to draw a C shape to represent the cheekbones. So with those two C shapes on the side, I can add designs in there. The third step is going to be to draw another U shape, a little bit larger, for the top of the skull. Once you have that, I'm going to go ahead and add my jawline from the bottom of the C and drop down a line here. This is where I'm going to put the teeth. Next, to do a nose, it's actually just an upside down heart on the skull. So right around where the cheekbones are, I'm going to put an upside down heart. Eyes will just be two circles. Do them a little bigger than you think they should be. We're going to add designs into those later. So here's my rough sketch. Again, you'd be able to use pencil and erase and clean up as you need to. Let's add the teeth in. One of the great things about the sugar skull design is that it really doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be fun and bright and artistic. It doesn't need to be a perfect skull. For my design, what I did is inside of the eyeballs, I put flowers. So I'm going to sketch some flower design in there. I looked at these and I was like, oh, it's cute, but it looks a little bit boring. So I added dots around the outside of them. Think as you're carving too, if you want to add extra design elements into it, that's perfectly fine. The next thing I did was added on the cheekbones just a little bit of half of a flower. So I was seeing this part and then a few leaves. I did that on both sides. The one thing I will say is these designs are very symmetrical. Feel free to look through your packet too for more ideas. Once I had that done, I was like, wow, there's a lot of space right here. So I added a little mustache. Kind of silly, kind of fun. As you can see, I got it really crooked, so I'd go ahead and fix that design by putting another line in. And then on the top of the head, I did a third eye flower. I noticed that the top of the skull didn't have a lot, so I just put some triangles and kind of played with a little bit of geometric design. I played with shape, did some big, some little, and then another big one. At the bottom on my carved design, I actually added a little diamond, so I'll throw the diamond in there too. For a diamond, first you just draw this little rectangle, and then add a triangle at the bottom of it. And it looks like a diamond. The one thing I would change if I was using pencil is I would go through and carve out a little bit of this jawline. Right now it's a little big for me. So I would actually go with this second line I had. I feel like that looks nicer and it looks a little bit more like an even skull. I'm using pencil to be able to erase, and then if you want to trace using your metal plate, you can definitely do that also. So first step, done. Second step, what you can do is get the metal plate and your carving tool. If you want to look at your sketch while you're doing it, that's great. If you want to actually trace it, you can also do that. So for this one, I'm going to trace it. I've got a piece of cardboard that I'm going to keep underneath it. That basically makes it easier to carve. You can use a notebook, you can use a bunch of paper, or you can use a cardboard piece. So I'm going to put my metal plate right over this cardboard, or the sheet right over the cardboard and metal plate. Let's make sure I'm all centered. When I'm pressing in, I'm going to press pretty hard the first time as I follow the lines. Check and make sure it's coming over on the other side. I need to press a little bit harder. I'm going to trace the whole design through. You can start to see this line come through. I'm going to trace the entire design. Once I've traced everything, then I'm going to flip the metal plate over and go over it one more time on this side. That's going to make it pop out a little bit more. And then third time, I'm going to actually trace on the other side again. That's really nice if you decide to use paint over the top of it to make those lines pop out. Our last step is going to be to design a background. You have two options here. You can either design using cardboard, or you can do a background design using cardstock. I'm going to recommend cardstock if you choose to use markers on your design. If you're using markers, cardstock's better because it's going to get a more vibrant color on it. So I would look at my design, kind of see how it looks, add some more swirls. I used a lot of really angular things with the triangles, so to offset that I would probably do a little bit more swirls, maybe a few more flowers, and kind of work in the corners. Keep in mind that you're going to put this over it, so if you don't want to design over the whole page, that's fine because half of it's going to be covered with your metal plate. If you use cardboard, on the other hand, as I did in my finished design, I would use oil pastel or crayon on top of it. It tends to take to it a little bit better. I also use some metallic markers just to add highlights. This is our final project, so if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to ask me in class. Great.